Hello, my lovely students. A very warm welcome to all of you. And my name is Anubha Gaur, your chemistry master teacher at Vedantu. And I hope all the ICSE 10 students were waiting for this session. That, ma'am, we want all the sessions of organic chemistry. So you don't have to fear. Your ma'am is here, and this is session number 2 of organic chemistry. That means there's only already one session that's being uploaded on this channel, Vedantu 9th English channel, that needs your support equally. How much support you have given to 9th Hindi channel, we already know. So please support this by liking, sharing, and definitely subscribing to this channel. And we'll always come up with the amazing contents in the best possible way so that you'll understand everything and you will feel, yeah, I got everything and I feel more confident now. Okay, students, that's it. That's enough of all the things, and let me start the session right away. Just a small information, students. You know that recently IIT JEE advanced result is out, and see how we say that Vedantu is the best learning platform in terms of online classes, because Vedantu students bag top ranks in JEE Advanced, which is the toughest exam of the India. Look at the ranks that all the students of Vedantu got it. Top 500, there were 5 students. Top 1011, top 2044, top 5121, and top 10,000, there were 253 students. And this is such a proud moment. And students, trust me, these are just students like you. So your photo, your name can also be there. You just have to feel more confident. You should have that thing that, yeah, I trust myself and I can do it. And Vedantu will make sure to provide all the possible education, best education, so that your confidence will more that boosted up, that I will be going here and I will come here. Okay, students, definitely possible. All right. So if you're really interested in taking Vedantu Pro Lite subscription course, what you all have to do, there's a link given by Vedantu 9th and 10th channel, pinned by Vedantu 9th channel, and it was given that this is the link for Pro Lite courses. So you just have to click the link and then select your grade, that's 10th class in ICSE, and then apply this magical coupon code, that's AGEPRO. AG ma'am's code is AGEPRO, because when you'll get it, you will get up to 20% to 43% discount. So it's all up to you that which course you will choose. There will be 3 plans, 1 month, 3 months, and 6 months. You can choose accordingly. 1 month 20% discount, and then 6 months will give you 43% discount. So choice is yours. Okay, students, so let's see what are we going to learn in this session. I hope you remember in the last session we did talk about isomerism and hydrocarbons in detail. In this session we'll talk about a particular hydrocarbon, because that's part of your syllabus, alkanes in detail, like what are the sources to get alkanes, what are the type of reactions, what is its physical property. We will talk about that in detail. So please stay till the end. Going to be very important session for all of you. Okay, students, and just tell me in the comment section that yes, ma'am, I do believe in myself and I can do it. Okay, students, I'll wait for your responses. So let's start with this positive quote of the day, that the expert in anything was once a beginner. So if you're like, ma'am, how will I achieve that goal? I'm not feeling that much confident. I am getting so much hurdles in my path and so much of distraction. So students, everyone was been there in that journey, and just believe that they were also once a beginner and they were also facing problems. Problems will make you stronger and you will get through it and you will pass with flying colors in all your goals. So hope you're excited enough. Let's start right now and let's talk about alkanes in detail. I hope you have the basic idea what exactly is alkane, that category of hydrocarbon in which there is a single bond between carbon and carbon, right? Alkanes are the ones also called as saturated hydrocarbons, where there is a single bond between carbon, and they can be generalized by a common formula, that's CnH2n plus 2, where N is nothing but number of carbon that can vary from 1 to 3 and so on. If I put N ka value 1, I got CH4, N is equal to 2, I got C2H6, 3H 8 and so on. These are nothing but alkanes because they are following a common formula where every bond between carbon and also hydrogen is a single bond. Okay, and you know how to pronounce it. For word root, I told you already, I am making videos on both the channel Hindi and English. We have divided your syllabus so that we can provide you all the possible lectures. Okay, students, so do follow both the channel. I'll try to make a playlist as well. So when you have one carbon, for one carbon we use a word root, that's meth, and alkane ends with ane. So this will become methane. Okay. For a 2 carbon, there is eth. For single bond between carbon and carbon, ane. So this is ethane. 3 prop, then single bond ane, propane, then butane, then pentane, then hexane, heptane, and so on. I hope you know now how to write its structure also. I'm talking about open structure, very easy. Just write carbon, and please do remember that carbon's valency should be satisfied because carbon shows tetravalency. Do not forget it. Carbon shows tetravalency, that's 4 valency. And here with every hydrogen, it will make a single bond. Ethane, 2 carbon, first job that you need to do is writing carbon chain and write hydrogen accordingly in such a way that there should always be carbon that will make always 4 bonds. Okay, and hydrogen always make 1 bond. You do not even have to think twice. If I talk about propane, there will be 3 carbon and then you have to put hydrogen accordingly. 3 here so that carbon will make 4 bond. 2 here so that carbon should make 4 bond. 3 here so that carbon should make 4 bond. That's how we'll keep on making structure. These are open structure for alkanes. Methane, ethane, propane, butane, pentane, whatever your alkane is, depending upon number of carbon. So I hope now you know the entire series of, I will call it homologous series of alkane. A small part that's required for your class, not more than that. Okay, students? Now, as alkanes are saturated hydrocarbons are the ones that's comparatively less reactive in nature. Okay, so they are relatively unreactive under ordinary condition, but if we give very high temperature and some certain set of reaction sunlight, then we observe that they will show some particular type of reactions. Otherwise, they are more of like unreactive. We don't believe in reacting too much. Okay, and they have one more name, a general name, that they are also called as paraffins. Okay, they are also called as paraffins. And now we'll talk about the sources of alkane, like from where we can get it. So the biggest source to get all the alkanes is your natural gas and petroleum. Petroleum, if I talk about, is a source of so many hydrocarbons, and I'm talking about so many alkanes, saturated hydrocarbon. So as your natural gas is having 95, that's nothing but that CNG only, 95% methane, and then that 5% I'll be having ethane, propane and all. Okay, so that's what CNG, again hydrocarbon, alkanes. So as my petroleum, sources of so many hundreds of hydrocarbons. All right, that's what written also, that natural gas is having highest amount of methane along with ethane, propane, also butane, higher hydrocarbons. And if I tell about the isomerism that I can observe in alkanes, what is isomerism? We talked about that in the last session too. Please see that. Isomerism is a what? Phenomena to exist into isomers. And what exactly is isomer? Iso means same, mer means part. Okay, iso means same and mer means part, or mers means parts. Okay, same parts. Means isomers are having the same molecular formula, but I can write it into different way in terms of linkage of the atoms. Maybe our functional group, maybe a double, triple bond, their position can vary. Maybe I can make a straight chain, maybe I can make a branch chain out of the same. So molecular formula same, structure may vary, then that is a special kind of isomers, and that is structural isomers. And my alkanes with more than 3 carbon will show that. How come? Let me show you one example in front of you, that the example of chain isomerism, that chain can vary. I can have a straight chain, I can have a branch chain. That isomerism I can see in hydrocarbons having more than 3 carbon, and that too I'm talking about alkanes. So students, this is C4H10 How can I write it? Same molecular formula. Chain isomers I'm drawing means differ in making chain. Maybe a straight chain, maybe a branch chain. So these two are chain isomers. What do we see? Carbon in a straight chain, and this time I took 3 carbon in a single chain, straight chain, and 1 carbon as a branch chain. You're like, ma'am, where are hydrogen? It's like chemists believe that it's so much understood thing that there will be hydrogen if I'm just writing a chain. So they are like, okay, we are cool, we know that how to draw that. Otherwise you can draw also. CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3. CH3, CH3. Why CH3? Carbon should always make 4 bond. 3, so this is H. And what do we see? Same molecular formula, that's 4 carbon and 10 hydrogen. But this is my butane. And what exactly this compound? I'll tell you their common name as well as IUPAC name. Right now I'm discussing IUPAC, International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, who gave the name of all the organic compounds according to some rules. Okay, so first rule to name a branch hydrocarbon is selecting the longest carbon chain. So I have a chain of 3 carbon, that will be the longest one from wherever I'll count the carbon chain in a continuous manner. 3 carbon chain, and this group is acting as a substituent. And what is this? This is an alkyl group. Alkyl group act as substituent. How I can choose an alkyl group? Alkyl group has this common formula, CnH2n plus 1. Whatever will be the number of carbon, hydrogen is double plus 1. That's what I see. C1H3. Okay, this is alkyl group, and alkyl act as a prefix when I have a branch hydrocarbon. Prefix means I'll give its name in very starting. Prefix. So its nomenclature will contain a prefix plus word root or root word that decides the number of carbon. We already covered nomenclature, and then suffix like ane, ene, and ine. So as I see that my second carbon is having an alkyl group of 1 carbon. 1 carbon we use meth. So this is methyl. Okay. So second position of carbon is carrying a methyl group, and then word root for 3 carbon prop. My parent chain is having 3 carbon. My main chain is having 3 carbon. Suffix will be ane because there is a single bond between carbon and carbon. Suffix, primary suffix decides whether there's a single, double, or triple bond between carbon. Then we use ane, ene, and ine. So the name of this will be 2-methyl propane, because second position of carbon is occupied with a methyl group. You'll write its position, you'll put a hyphen, and then you'll write the word for it. Okay, do not forget it, how to write it. These two are IUPAC way to name it. And if I talk about common name, for a straight chain, we use N in very starting, N-butane. N means normal. What is the meaning of N? Normal. Normal butane, a straight chain butane. And when I talk about this compound, do remember that when my second position of carbon is occupied by an alkyl group, I use a symbol iso in the common nomenclature. So this will be called as iso for second position of carbon occupied by alkyl group, or you can also say the carbon must be attached to 3 carbon. That carbon must attach to 3 carbon. Iso and then butane. Butane nomenclature in a common way doesn't make much sense, okay, and a bit difficult to remember, but yeah, you can do it. So this is normal butane, a straight chain butane. This is isobutane, that means a branched hydrocarbon. Okay, iso for the second group having an alkyl group, second group having a branch. Yeah, butane 4 carbon. So these are the 2 ways to decide nomenclature in butane. Means more than 3 carbon will always contain isomers in alkanes. Yeah, and I told you N stands for normal. I told you it's IUPAC names also. What about pentane? How I can write pentane, or simply C5H12 in different way? There are 3 possible way to write my C5H12, and isomers of pentane I will call it chain isomers, because chain structure will vary. First I can draw a normal pentane, all the carbon in a straight chain like this, and then we'll see branch position, like can I have any of the carbon in form of a branch. So now what will I do? 4 carbon in such a way, and I'll take 1 carbon as a branching. Let me see if there is more than 1 possibility of branching also. This time I took 1 carbon as a substituent. This time I'm taking 2 carbon as the substituent. Got it? 3 possibilities. And in common way to name it, this is N-pentane, normal pentane. As I told you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 carbon member chain. Second, having an alkyl group. Second member is, attached to 3 carbon. So we use iso. So this is isopentane, and this having a carbon that's attached to 4 carbon, we use a symbol neo. So this is neopentane. A carbon attached to 4 carbon. So we use a symbol neo for it. So N-pentane, isopentane, and then I am left with neopentane. But what about IUPAC nomenclature? I'll call it simple pentane. This will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Second position having a methyl. So this will be 2 methyl and then 4 carbon but, single bond between it is A. So this is 2 methyl butane. This will be what? CH3, CH3 and having 2 alkyl group. So now this time there are 2 methyl group at second carbon. So name will be 2,2-dimethyl propane. Please understand, I'll help you as well. Second position of carbon, this is first, this is second, third. Longest carbon chain of 3 member will be there. Second position is having 2 alkyl group, that's 2 methyl group. And I will tell the position 2, 2. Why 2, 2? Why I'm not writing 2 dimethyl? Because these 2 methyl can be a different position in organic chemistry also if we'll be having a long chain. So scientists is like every time you have to define position. So 2, 2 means both of the methyl is on second carbon only. 2, 2 dimethyl and then propane, right? This is isomerization in my different alkanes. I would suggest you, and do let me know in the comment section, isomers of hexane, and that is C6H14. I'll wait for it. Okay, I hope that makes sense. We almost did it. Let's move ahead and talk about methane and ethane in very detail, because that's part of your syllabus, that how these two gases actually exist, where do they exist, their source, their physical property and kind of reaction. So when I talk about first of all methane, everyone, that's also called as marshy gas or marsh gas. Marsh or marshy gas. The reason for the same is, marsh means because we get it from those marshy places, all those sewage and all, where all the organic particles is going to decompose, specifically talking about cellulose. When I talk about cellulose, that's there in so many plants, so that will decompose with the help of a bacteria, and then methane gas will release. It exists in the form of a gas. So marsh gas also we call it. Also, it's not like done. Where else do we found it? In animals also. You know that so many animals have this habit of chewing their food for a longer time, and when you come close, there is a very bad kind of a smell coming from their mouth. The reason for this is they also somewhat exhaling that methane gas. The reason is they are chewing those cellulose food, and that decompose by bacteria to release methane gas. So they also kind of exhale it. Okay, and apart from that, sad but true, it is also contained in intestinal gases and in the blood of animals and human beings also. And I think you understood it, what I meant to say. So this methane gas is also there, formed in intestine, and then that will be released also. Okay, apart from that, cavities in coal contain 90% methane. It is called as fire damp. So students, whenever you see people working in coal mines, their air also contain methane, and sometimes that's the biggest responsible for making those coal fire. That's why we call it fire damp. Possibility of catching fire is very high in those coal mines because of methane acting as a fuel over there. Methane is a very good fuel. Okay, that's why we use CNG. And apart from that, by destructive distillation of my wood, I can also get methane. Wood turning into charcoal, it will give you charcoal, and methane gas is going to release out of the same. So there is one more possibility. See, so many possibility to get my methane. And if I talk about its structure, it's three-dimensional structure and exists in the form of a tetrahedron. I'll show its proper structure. So this is like 3D. It's difficult to draw in a plane of paper. I'll be drawing like this in a simple way, right? This is this something that looks like a tetrahedron, something like this. But I just make it in a paper, I just show it in the screen, but actually 3 dimension, all the 3 axes will be needing to draw its structure. This is actually this, and when we try to make it in a paper, it's like this, that this dash line is showing that this hydrogen is coming out of the plane, and this dotted line means going above the plane. Suppose this is plane of paper, okay, and one carbon and hydrogen is that in the same plane. One hydrogen is coming towards my side, one to that back side, in that way making a tetrahedron. And there's in a tetrahedron, why they make such structure? Because all of these electron of these bonding will stay apart from each other as much as possible, so that there won't show any more kind of a repulsion and instability in the structure. So they will exist with the angle 109 degree in 5 minutes, and you can simply call it 109.5 degree. Okay, if they'll come close, they can repel each other. So that's the maximum good way or a stable structure I can have in terms of methane. Pretty much clear? It's easy also. So students, if I talk about methane, it's a colorless gas and odorless gas, and it's having a melting point of minus 183 degrees Celsius. That means before minus 183 degree, it is in what form? Solid form. So I can say minus 184 is a temperature where methane is in the solid form. Boiling point minus 162 degrees Celsius. That means before that it's there in the liquid form. Here the liquid form of methane starts converting to vapors of methane, gas. Yeah, pretty much all the gases have lower melting and boiling point. Negligibly soluble in water, because water is a polar solvent, and there is a statement, please always remember that, and that is like dissolves like. Whatever a nature of a substance, that will dissolve in the same kind of a nature of a substance. It's like we'll be always having our friends that will be almost, some property which is matching with each other, some frequency that's matching in the same way. So methane is something that's non-polar in nature. We did that in covalent bonding. Non-polar means this carbon and hydrogen is of almost same electronegativity. They are not like I'll attract the shared pair of electron or I'll attract the shared pair of electron. So they remain intact, no polarity, no charge separation, non-polar. So that can't be dissolved into water, which is a polar solvent. But it will dissolve in so many organic solvents. That's definitely non-polar in nature, right? And a very big thing, I hope you know that also, methane along with CO2 is also a kind of gas that's equally responsible for greenhouse effect. So that's also a greenhouse effect gas, okay? Trap the radiation coming out of the sun, and that was, given back by the earth, reflected by the earth, and that CH4 will trap it along with CO2 and makes the atmosphere very hot. And if I talk about ethane, I hope you're understanding all the part. And as I told you, keep supporting, keep loving. Let's set the target at least 350 likes. I'll find after the video is done. Let me see that how ICSE 10 students will support this channel. Okay, we'll talk about ethane as well, students. If I talk about ethane, where do we found it? It's like ethane is always with methane and somehow the more about. It occurs to the extent of 10 to 20% along with my methane. With methane, you remember my natural gas also having ethane with methane. That's also colorless, odorless and tasteless and non-poisonous gas, same property of methane, but boiling point and melting point will vary comparatively less than the methane. It's minus 89 degrees Celsius, that's the boiling point. Melting point is minus 172 degrees Celsius. I should not say less, I should say more as compared to my methane, okay? And it's like whenever you go to higher and higher member, I'm going from methane to ethane. Whenever you go to higher member, kind of melting and boiling point increases as mass is increasing. And it's kind of sparingly soluble in water, certain polarity due to having its structure in the more and more space is going to come, and partially soluble in water, and definitely, and in organic solvent, it is having good amount of solubility. Alright, and they both are saturated hydrocarbons because we should know how they are going to react. Saturated, not that much reactive. We also call it paraffins, and the best part is, look at this, they are saturated hydrocarbon and only show saturated hydrocarbon will show substitution reaction, that hydrogen will go, some other atom or group of atom can come. So they don't react with NaOH. That means they are not showing any kind of acidic property. They won't be oxidized with the help of an oxidizing agent, just like potassium permanganate. That means their oxidation is not going to occur as well. They won't react with sodium. Okay, so it's like their hydrogen is not going to replace by sodium. That's not an easy reaction at all. So what kind of a reaction they'll show? As ma'am told you, substitution reaction, where hydrogen will be substituted by some other atoms or group of atoms, and basically they will show its substitution towards halogens. Halogen 17th group of the periodic table, and we know that these alkanes are very good fuels. We burn it to produce energy, so they definitely shows combustion reactions and produces energy so that we can use it as a fuel. So let's see, as ma'am told, how they react with halogens and replaced hydrogen of the alkane and will take its position. And what are we going to get? It's like I am writing my methane in this way, CH3 and H. CH4, I just write it in this way. With halogen, suppose I wrote Cl2, chlorine, chlorine, always in the form. So H is like I am going with Cl and the position will be vacant. Chlorine you can attack over there. What you got it? CH3Cl. The common name for CH3 is, I mean general alkyl group, and chlorine is a member of halogen, halide. So the general way to call it is alkyl halide, but when I talk about its scientific name, IUPAC name, I will call it haloalkane. Why so? Because chlorine is also, or halogens is also going to act as a prefix, and we'll name it very starting, and with that pronunciation like halo. So chlorine, chloro, bromine, bromo, and so on. So I have halo, and then this is a derivative of alkane, so this is haloalkane. Alkyl halide common nomenclature, haloalkane is the scientific nomenclature. Okay, so let's see some of the reactions, that how methane is going to react. And there is two possibilities the way my methane can react, as my alkanes are very, very less reactive. Either you will put sunlight, good amount of sunlight, or you will heat it to around 600 Kelvin temperature, which is very high. So as ma'am told you, Cl, one hydrogen will be going with Cl, and CH3Cl is going to produce. This is your CH3 is methyl, Cl is chloride. So this is methyl chloride, or scientific name will be chloromethane. Methane derivative and chloro as chlorine is going to add. So chloromethane. Alright. So I hope this reaction is pretty much clear. And I must say that this reaction will be in a continuous manner and will stop when all of the hydrogen will be replaced by chlorine. So it's like I got my first step with chloromethane, more chlorine will be added, more chlorine will be added, and finally all of the hydrogen is going with 1 chlorine to give in total 4 HCl with those 4 hydrogen, and those 4 chlorine left is making and attacking with the carbon. So this is what I got. This is, I can say, tetrachloromethane, the final product that I'm going to get. What exactly is this? Tetrachloromethane. And if I talk about common name, I'll call it carbon tetrachloride. What will I call it? Carbon tetrachloride. Okay, carbon tetrachloride. So what this kind of a reaction is? Nothing but substitution reaction. My hydrogen is substituting with a halogen, right? That's what written, that it will keep on happening, and the final product we will get a CCl4 in each and every step. First step, methyl chloride. Second step, dimethyl chloride, trimethyl chloride, and then last will something that we are going to get, tetrachloromethane or carbon tetrachloride. Fine, students? Okay, so that happens with my ethane also, students. Ethane will also show same kind of a reaction. In case of ethane, my structure is this. I hope you remember, CH3, CH3. 3, I have 6 hydrogen. So when I put 6 Cl2, 6 chlorine will be going with 6 HCl, and 6 chlorine that's left is going to attack to make CCl3, CCl3. That's hexachloroethane as the final product. But one by one, it's like what I'll get in very first step, CH3, CH2, Cl. one of the hydrogen is replaced by chlorine, and that will keep on happening. So the very first product will be chloroethane, then dichloroethane, trichloroethane, tetra, penta, and finally hexachloroethane in excess of chlorine gas. So I hope you understand that it's a very easy reaction. Same will happen with iodine and bromine also. I just took the example of chlorine. Other halogens can also be there. Fluorine won't be there. Fluorine is very much reactive gas and we avoid it. Okay. And what about reaction with oxygen? How they'll react with oxygen? They will show combustion reaction with oxygen, and whenever any hydrocarbon burnt in sufficient amount of air, I'm talking about a saturated hydrocarbon just like these. If a saturated hydrocarbon burns in sufficient supply of air, we'll always get the product CO2 and water vapor along with energy. All right, I'll show you the reaction also, don't worry, and that's why we use it in the form of gaseous fuels. Let's see the reaction. CH4 with oxygen. It's like these substances are going to get oxidized. Carbon with oxygen, CO2 vapors, and then hydrogen with oxygen, water vapors along with heat energy. And that's how we use CNG gas, compressed natural gas. But when we have insufficient supply of air, my methane is not able to burn properly, and I'm not going to get carbon dioxide but carbon monoxide. Look at this. This is my methane. Look at this. This is my ethane. When I'm burning it in oxygen, you can download this PDF file also. You will get the link again in the description box. Will take some time. Just look it after an hour. You will get the PDF. I'll make sure that. In insufficient supply of air, what I'm going to get? In insufficient supply of air, I'll get carbon monoxide, a poisonous gas along with water vapor and energy. Also, the flame that is going to come is not blue. Blue flame is showing complete combustion. Your hydrocarbon is burning completely. When not burning completely, I am going to get a yellow flame. I am going to get a sooty flame. Some of the carbon remain unburnt and gives a sooty flame. Black color, soot particle. Okay. Look at this. This is like if my oxygen is further less, then what will happen? Then I'll just get carbon soot particles along with water, and these soot particles will collect it as well, and after collecting we can use it in making ink and you use different kind of printers. They use an ink that's made up of this carbon particle, soot particle only. Interesting. I found it very interesting. We can use it as a source of energy also, fuel also, and we can use them in making that tires also. Carbon black, we use it a form of carbon only. Inks also. So this is pretty much interesting to know that. And students, all the relevant information that you need to know about alkanes, that's methane and ethane, is done. There is no point that's left. So please revise it properly and you will get thorough information, and you'll be able to do good in exam also. So in next session, we'll talk about alkenes and alkynes in detail. So please stay tuned with a smile, with that excitement, and I will complete that for sure. Take Vedantu Pro subscription by going to the link given in the description box. Select your grade, select your target, and get your subscription as ma'am told you. For 1 month, 3 months and 6 months, you can choose accordingly. It's just when you apply the coupon code AGEPRO, this will give you extra discount from 20 to 43%. So the previous course for 1 month was for 2699. You can get it in 2159. For 3 months, you can just get in 1866. For 6 months, you can just get it in 1533. 1533 rupees per month. So this code is very magical and will give you discount. Do not miss a chance. Take it as an opportunity. Do come and see how we work. Okay, students? Thank you so much for watching. I hope it's really fruitful for you. So keep following, keep liking the video, keep sharing it to your friends. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet. Ma'am will meet you very soon. Until then, take care, keep revising. Happy learning, my students.